Hey everybody, today we'll be talking about our Oscars predictions. Well, my Oscar predictions. So this coming Sunday in America, or Monday afternoon if you live in Australia, is the Oscars. And in less than 60 hours we're going to find out who wins. So here I wrote my predictions, as you can see, and I'll get a much broader picture up on the computer screen so you can follow along. I'm going to blur out the ones we're not talking about and only focus on the ones that we are highlighting today. So to start things off, I thought we'll work our way down, eventually the best picture, but first things first, let's start with the small categories. So original screenplay is I believe it should go to Parasite. So the crosses represent what I believe should win, and the ticks is going to represent what will win. So I've gone for Parasite because it's an amazing South Korean film. It's about class system, but it's just so well put together. However, the original screenplay will go to Knives Out just because of how ritzy and how glamorous it is, as well as the Oscars are a bit of a sucker for something way out there. So I believe it'll probably most likely go to Knives Out, but I'm hoping that Parasite will win. So one vote to Parasite. Adapted screenplay. I believe that The Irishman will probably win because it's a technical marvel. Joker might come out of nowhere. The two popes and the woman, they're expendable. But I believe that Jojo Rabbit, just because of how, if it's screen put together, the acting is so good, the dialogue is funny and clever, and somehow, against all odds, Taika Waititi makes Hitler look awesome. As in, he does a terrific job playing that performance. So that's my winner for that screenplay, goes to Jojo Rabbit. One for Jojo. Visual effects. Now, if you asked me at the mid of the year, I would have easily gone for Avengers Endgame because the visual effects in that are truly amazing and the set pieces are well done. It had a $300 million budget, so how could it not be good? However, I believe that it will most likely go to 1917 because of how well the graphics put together with the planes and the set pieces. However, I wanted to go to The Irishman because the de-aging effects on Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, as well as Al Pacino, it's so well put together. Oh my god, I'm technical marvel. It's way ahead of its time. And looks Captain Marvel look pretty amateur by comparison, and they're really well done. So this one goes to The Irishman. One vote for The Irishman. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Star Wars. However, the sound editing was great, and it was so well done. That's one of probably the best things about Star Wars, and that's the overall series, not just the sound. Like, the movie quality might increase or decrease, but one thing remains the same, the sound. It's amazing. However, it will go to 1917. That film had great sound as well, but I believe that's better for the layout when we get more into production design later. However, that should most likely go to 1917. So second vote. So one vote for Star Wars. Now we won't talk about the shorts because I haven't seen them. So I've just gone with Nafita Football Club. One vote for them, and the only vote. Anime short film. I haven't crossed in anything, but if I'm going to guess, I'll say Sister. Give them the vote. So those are going to be the honorable mentions. We'll put that at the end. So production design. Now this was a pretty straightforward one. For my opinion anyway. 1917, I watched that film and the production design is amazing. The war zones, how things, you never know what's around the corner. You can't predict it. There are films I've watched where it's still been great, but you can know what's around the corner. But it's so well put together. It's really, like, really well done. The Irishman sets were alright. It was just courtrooms and a bunch of other things. Jojo Rabbit, it was just many hallways. And Once Upon a Time, that will kind of come second. Parasite was good, but it was mainly based in a mansion, but that was still pretty well done. But however, I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward one. I believe 1917 will win and should win. Give it first vote for 1917. Documentary feature. I don't know. I'm seeing these either, which sucks because I love documentaries. But if I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna say For Summer. That's what I believe should win that documentary feature. Documentary short subject. I haven't seen any of these either. Oh man, I'm so bad. I need to start watching these a bit more often. Film editing. Now this is a good one. I really loved the editing done in Parasite. That was really well done. The cuts, the editing, that was put together so marvelously. It was really good. It's one of the best things about the whole entire film. However, it will most likely, I believe, if Ford versus Ferrari doesn't pull this out of the hat, I believe it should go to the Joker, just because of how they put together the music, the sound, and the cross-cutting. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's so well done. But my vote will go to Parasite, but Joker will win. Best international film. This is pretty straightforward. Pain and Glory. It has Antonio Banderas. It's probably the best part about that film. However, it's a walkover, this one. Parasite should easily win it. They've got it locked in. They don't even have to rock up. They can just like be on stage, ready to go, accept the award. It's an awesome film. It's my favorite film so far. If I'm not showing, if you can't believe the bias in this film already, with what I'm saying, then it's my pick so far to win Best Picture, and we haven't even got there yet. Makeup and hairstyling. Now, I haven't seen Maleficent. In 1917, the hairstyles were alright. They're pretty war-zoney. They look like suitable, great for the times. They did that really well done. Judy and Bombshell, they probably use a lot of hairspray in those things. However, I believe just for the Joker look alone, the hair in those films and the makeup work, especially on the Joker's face, it's an easy walkover. So I believe Joker will win this one. One for Joker. Original score. As you can see, I'm a bit biased for this one. I've said Star Wars again. Yeah, two Oscar wins. Who would have guessed if I was the voter? It was really well put together. I love John Williams. He's a marvel in any film he does. It sucks how he's leaving, and I'm gonna miss seeing his talent. I'm just gonna have to relive what he's done so far. But I believe it'll most likely go to 1917 because of the score in the film is so marvelous as well, and I can't believe what they've done. However, my pick is for Star Wars. Another point for Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker. Original score. Original song, I mean. Original song. I haven't really paid much attention to any of these. I didn't see Rocket Man. I haven't seen Breakthrough. I haven't seen Harriet. I haven't seen Frozen 2 either. But they're a bit of a sucker for those uplifting kind of music. So I'm going to go with Into the Unknown from Frozen 2. Went to Frozen 2. Best animated film. So this was a kind of a tough one. I liked The Missing Link. I liked How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. I missed how much I'm so used to saying that. But How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. But I believe we'll most likely go to Toy Story 4, especially considering that Disney didn't win animated film. It's usually the one thing I always have in the bag each Oscar season. It's always the case. However, this time around, I believe I hopefully go to How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, but it's Toy Story 4 that will take this one out. Points to Toy Story 4, despite being not as good as Toy Story 3. Cinematography. Now this was a very tough one, very competitive. I love The Irishman with its cinematography. It's probably one of the best part about the whole entire film because I wasn't a big fan of the plot. The Lighthouse, that's so well put together. It's the black and white mixture of everything. The mixture of it is so well done. However, I would love to see it go to the Joker because that was like the best part of the whole film. Like, it's colorful, it's full of life. Even though it's a very depressing story, I really loved it. However, the cinematography will most likely go to 1917, even though just because of how well the sets match with the cinematography, and the guy who won it is amazing. So, however, I want to give it to Joker, but it'll most likely go to 1917. Another point for Joker. Directing. Now, I'm a sucker for Parasite. I picked this one because using a bunch of unknown actors and somehow making a masterpiece, make them play a performance of their lives without winning any acting awards is amazing. But it will most likely go to 1917 just because of how he did the one shot, how he directed the one shot take. That is absolutely out of this world, and it's really amazing. But however, with Parasite, he managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat and literally do so well with it. So another point to Parasite, but it will most likely go 1917. On to the acting awards. Actor in leading role. This was it's a two-horse race. Leonardo DiCaprio does not care. He's already won his Oscar. He's already out of this. Antonio Banderas is third. John Price, I'm sorry, but you make up the numbers. Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, he would have had a shot of winning this. However, there was two that was easily. This is a two-horse race. It's going to be either Adam Driver for Marriage Story, which I hope wins because he was amazing in that. So good, really compelling. He had to pretend to be married to Scarlett Johansson. That's not easy. Even though they are roughly the same age, I looked it up. To get a chemistry like that, it's truly phenomenal. However, we're going to see history made. It's going to go to Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker role. He was superb in that. He was really great. However, Adam Driver had to pretend to be married to Scarlett Johansson. How could you not want to pick that? He was so good. However, the voters will most likely sway towards the more dark, depressing, anger-filled, and so flamboyancy of the Joker role. We're going to see history made. So my vote goes to Adam Driver for Marriage Story, but it will go to Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. Point to Adam Driver for Marriage Story. Actor in supporting role. Now this is this is the weakest of all the categories. I watched A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Tom Hanks was okay. Yeah, he didn't have enough screen time in my opinion. The story should have focused more on Mr. Rogers, but no, they chose the other people who were unknown, and Tom Hanks was just kind of there. But he did a good job, it just wasn't great. I haven't seen The Two Popes, so I'll just assume he was alright. Okay. So, I'm going to say Brad Pitt. So, I'm most likely going to say that it's going to be a walkover. Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's my pick as well because out of all the categories, he was amazing. Joe Pesci and Al Pacino just played somewhat gangster versions of themselves. So, point to Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Actress in a leading role. Now, same argument as before. Surely, that it's gonna be, I want it to be Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. However, it's gonna most likely gonna have to go to Renee Zellweger for Judy. I haven't seen Judy, but pretend to be another actress is always hard to do. But my pick is for Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, because she had to pretend to be married to Adam Driver. How could you not want to pick that? So, point to Scarlett. Actress in a supporting role. This is a walkover. Scarlett Johansson is probably the next best thing. Everyone wants Florence Pugh to win it for Little Women. I haven't seen Little Women, but I believe it will most likely go to Laura Dern, because she had to pretend to be a psychologist to two people who pretend to married. Can you not see how that doesn't work? Surely it's a walkover. So I predict and I believe it'll go to Marriage Story, both on that. So point to Laura Dern and the Marriage Story. That should be free by now. Now, for the moment you're all been waiting for. Best Picture. This is extremely, and I mean extremely competitive, no exaggeration. Extremely tough. These were all great. Little Women's great. Ford vs. Ferrari's great. The Irishman's great. Let's break it down one by one. Start with Ford vs. Ferrari. Ford vs. Ferrari is a great story, very compelling. I just don't believe it has enough to win Best Picture. It maybe in any other year it might win it, but this year it won't. So it might become fourth in the race. The Irishman is easily third. The Irishman is a technical marvel, like the CGI effects with how they make it, visual effects. It's got in the bag, but the story was long and it's just talky, and people and the Oscars have kind of had enough of that. They want to see a bit of mixture. Well, at least I hope they do. So it won't win it. Jojo Rabbit, it's really funny. It's so compelling, and they managed to make a sad story out of it too. I genuinely cried during the film. However, it's not gonna win it either. It's not gonna be enough. You're great, everybody in it, but the acting was good, and however, it's not gonna go to Jojo Rabbit either. Joker is fourth. Joker is fourth to get the film. This would be a huge shock and a huge one-up to Marvel if DC wins it, because neither DC or Marvel has won Best Picture. It's only a matter of time until one of them does. However, it's not Joker's time yet. Little Women, ninth. Next. Marriage Story was a great film. However, it's not good enough to win it. The acting was superb, but I don't believe people want to see a depressing story about marriage winning it. It was still a great film, but I think it'll be a bit of a downer and people will forget about it later. Now, we're going to leave 1917 and jump onto Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino, you're amazing. The story is great, the acting is fun, the set pieces are crazy, but they're not too much a fan of something out there, because I believe Get Out would have won it if they were a bit more fan of Out There. So it's like fifth or sixth in the race. Now, let's talk about the picks. 1917 versus Parasite. Everybody wants Parasite to win it, and they could pull the rabbit out of the bag and win it. I hope they do. It's an amazing film. It'll be the first time in a very long time a non-American film has won it. People want to see a little bit of history made, and just imagine the Asian market will explode. This will be huge news for their country. 1917, it's a great film on its own, and it's really easy to watch, but people will forget about it. No one talks, like Dunkirk was great, but no one talks about it anymore. Parasite, it's amazing, it's a marvel. It's like, let's talk about this. In the 90s, there was a film called Forrest Gump, which still gets talked about today, and Shawshank Redemption. They should have given it to them both. They're both great. But I'm more a fan of Shawshank, and it's number one on IMDb, for God's sake. Those films are both great, but they both should have won it. But any other year, it would have won. Literally any other year, but that year, it lost. So I'm hoping that the Academy will understand and actually give it to someone who's worthy. So hopefully it goes to Parasite. However, it's going to go to 1917. Best Picture, 1917. I'm hoping to God that Parasite wins it. Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for any videos that you want me to review, or any movies or any TV shows, leave it down in the comments below and I'll leave to talk about it. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Whew, so hot.